In the outskirts of Manila, where the sky was often hidden behind the smoke of burning waste and the streets were made of dust and plastic, there lived a woman who refused to see her world as hopeless. Her name was Rosa Villanueva, a schoolteacher with no classroom, no chalk, and no walls to write on, only dreams as fragile as the paper she carried in her worn-out bag. Every morning, she walked through the garbage hills of Tonda, where children scavenged for food instead of pencils, and where the smell of decay mixed with laughter that had forgotten what hope felt like. Rosa was not rich. She slept in a tin shack that leaked when it rained, but her heart held something wealthier than gold: belief. She believed that even in the dirtiest corners of the world, something beautiful could grow. It began one afternoon when she saw a boy sitting on a broken tire, drawing letters with a stick on the dirt. His name was Paulo, and when she asked what he was writing, he said quietly, "My name, before the rain takes it away." That sentence struck her like lightning. That night, Rosa couldn't sleep. The wind blew through the holes in her roof, and the noise of distant crying mixed with the hum of the city that didn't care. She whispered to herself, "If no one will build a school for them, I will." But how? She had no money, no land, no permission. Only faith, and that was enough to start. The next morning, she went to the landfill and began collecting bottles, old wood, tin sheets, and even cardboard. The men laughed. "Are you opening a junk shop, teacher?" But Rosa smiled and said, "No. I'm building dreams." Slowly, a space began to form, walls made of plastic bottles packed with sand, tied with old ropes, a roof built from discarded metal sheets that once covered markets, and tables made from crates. The first time it rained, half the wall fell down. But Rosa didn't cry. She rebuilt. Children began gathering around, curious, watching this small woman building something from nothing. She taught them ABCs on the back of flattened cardboard boxes, drew numbers with charcoal, and used bottle caps as math tools. Soon, her tiny school, which the locals called Basura Academy, became a miracle in the middle of the dump. Mothers began sending their children, fathers came to help reinforce the walls, and slowly, the trash began to turn into treasure. Rosa taught more than reading, she taught dignity. She told her students, "You are not trash just because you were born near it." Every word she spoke carried warmth, the kind of warmth you can't buy, the kind that builds people, but the government didn't see it that way. Officials came and told her the school was illegal, unsafe, unsanctioned, unapproved. They asked her to stop. She smiled and said, "If education is unsafe, then ignorance is deadly." She refused to quit. When they tore down her school the first time, the entire community, hundreds of parents and children, came together to rebuild it overnight. And for the first time, those who once scavenged together were now building together. The fire of unity burned brighter than any candle. Years passed. The school of trash grew. A charity group heard her story and donated books, solar lamps, and proper desks, but Rosa kept the bottle walls as they were, saying, "I want every child to remember where we started, so they'll never look down on where they came from." And when her first batch of students graduated, they didn't just walk across a makeshift stage, they walked out of the cycle of poverty. Some became teachers, engineers, and nurses. One of them, Paulo, the boy who once wrote his name in the dirt, became an architect. He designed a new school building in Rosa's honor, stronger, larger, built on the same spot where the garbage once stood. He called it Rosa's Light. When Rosa was asked how she managed to do it all with nothing, she said softly, "I didn't have money, but I had belief." And belief is the currency of miracles. Today, Rosa Villanueva's school stands as a living symbol of resilience, a place where broken glass became windows of opportunity, and where waste became wisdom. She still teaches there every morning, barefoot sometimes, smiling at the same children whose parents she once taught. Her story is not about building a school, it's about building people. About showing the world that the lowest places can still reach the highest hopes. When people told her, "You can't," she didn't argue, she built proof. And maybe that's what true leadership is, not waiting for change, but becoming it.so, when you think your dream is impossible because you don't have the right tools, the right money, or the right start, remember Rosa. Remember that a woman with nothing turned trash into education, and hopelessness into light. Because sometimes the world doesn't need another millionaire, it needs another Rosa Villanueva, who looks at broken things and says, "Let's build." And that's the lesson for you, listening now. Your surroundings don't define your story, your belief does. You can be the Rosa of your world, building hope where others see garbage, creating opportunity where others see failure, and finding light in places people have forgotten to look. Because greatness isn't born in comfort, it's built in the dirt, by those who refuse to give up.